What I thought was odd about the whole situation with the review, and this is weird to me, where sometimes what's going on is happening on Twitter instead of the broadcast. Did you notice that?
No.
Well, none of the Bally's replays showed the fact that Contreras tagged the runner. Everybody, understandably, was only focused on the foot. And then it was the other team's broadcast, it was the Rockies' broadcast, that shows the replay that it doesn't really matter if the foot was on the plate, which I don't think it was, because Contreras clearly tags the runner a couple feet before he hits home plate. And so it was kind of one of those things where, so if you were following on Twitter, you knew this about 10 minutes after it happened. And then if you're watching Bally's, you almost on a broadcast need to have somebody who's following on Twitter sometimes. I'm dead serious. Because Bally's went through their whole post-game show not knowing until Contreras said in his post-game that he tagged the guy.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So, you have to know that, and you wouldn't have known that because Bally's didn't have that replay.
I thought it was pretty obvious without even seeing the Rockies replay. I thought first thing I saw was he got him on his left pant leg. You could see the pant leg move, even in all the replays that Bally was using. It became more definitive, the shot down the line, but...
Why wouldn't they have that camera angle?
Well, the thing is, though, so I didn't notice it, but nobody on the Bally's broadcast brought that up. And I was also surprised that if you're Contreras, you would think you would be kind of hooting and hollering, going, I tagged him, and I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
If I'm Ollie, I wonder if Ollie knew that Contreras tagged him. Because everybody's probably focusing on the foot.
Yeah.
It has created, right at the end of spring training, I think it was Kenny Rosenthal. He wrote a piece in The Athletic, and Buck Showalter was heavily focused in it because the Mets have gone to great lengths to get the best replay guy in the game. They've paid him a bunch of money, and now he's sort of useless because he has to be in the video room. Well, you've got 15 seconds. You're on the clock too. As soon as the play ends, you have 15 seconds. And Showalter said essentially that he thinks that anytime there's even a debate of whether or not you want to challenge, you need to just put your hand up in the air. And the umpires aren't even going to walk over. I mean, the last couple of years, replay, they've had minutes to decide. Maybe not minutes, but a minute, which is a long time. And so now you don't have time to get on the phone. You got to make a judgment call. If you're going to challenge, you got to go right away.
So do we blame Bally's for this?
No, I do think they should have more time, though. A minute is probably too long with what they're trying to do with keeping the game going. But 15 seconds is not enough time. I think 30 seconds is probably fair. 15 seconds is not enough time.
Well, do the umps yell into the dugout hey, make a decision? Or do they just say, hey, nope, that's it, time's up?
Well, they're looking at Ollie.
They were, and he just stood there and
Well, most of the time, don't you most of the time you see the manager and he starts with the hand up.
Yeah, most of them do.
And then he goes to the headphone sign if he wants the challenge, which if you watched last night, Ali did that, but apparently he did it as the clock struck zero.
Well, it was the bottom of the seventh with 2 outs, and you couldn't afford to give up any more runs. Why wouldn't you just make the challenge anyways?
That's
there's only 2 more innings.
That's a great point.
And I'm not big on, a lot of times I'll see in the 7th inning or whatever, a manager make or challenge a play, and then 2 innings later, it'll be an obvious call that didn't go their way, where it's oh shoot, they should have saved that challenge. But I think they were just eager. They were kind of in desperation mode, where they may have prematurely challenged a call.
Fergie chimes in and goes, Contreras did motion to the Cardinals dugout to challenge. I feel like this is the second time Contreras mentioned like that. Poor management, ? Fergie?
But did he say challenge based on the foot or the tag? I would have thought he'd be hooting and hollering and saying, I tagged him.
Touched him. Interesting. The broadcast has been horrible. Couldn't see the home plate play. Couldn't see balls and strike replay that Ali almost got tossed on. Sanderson.
I don't think all the camera angles are the broadcast's fault. You only have a certain amount of cameras. You're on the road. It was odd, though, that the Rockies had a much better view. Yeah. Whatever camera angle somebody put on Twitter was very obvious that it was a tag.
That Jordan Walker's hitting the ball still.
There you go. There's a positive.
There you go. You like that?
He's, surpassed?
He swings like Mark McGwire, eh, Nate?
Mark McGwire?
I know somebody said that, and I'm like,
No, I said that. His follow through. If you
Follow
look at
through.
when he
Yeah,
hit
that's
the
it.
home
You did.
run,
yes.
on the home run, he's got that elaborated follow through where he holds the bat in his
Extension.
hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks. That's not the focal point. I understand why people are frustrated. We're talking about the woes, but it does suck that that's kind of getting the Jordan Walker thing's getting overshadowed.
Well, you gotta win.
Should have been on my notes, I'm part of that.
That should have been on your notes.
I contributed.
It's not easy, eh? You're like, dang, what
Because you're being negative.
I know. I'm always negative. That's my shtick
Are you?
with the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's his shtick.
But everybody is. That's kind of
Well,
the fun of it.
I think that's everybody's
It's like
shtick.
we're really not as mad
Besides
as we
Jimmy.
are, as we act.
Yeah.
We just like to complain about
I
something.
like drama.
They're also 3-7. If they were 7-3, we wouldn't be negative.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we'd find something.
Well, you can
You can
nitpick.
nitpick. Yeah, Charlie.
You know what though? If they would have been 7-3, coming off what? Blue Jays, Braves, Brewers.
Yeah.
That'd have been pretty dang impressive.
Yeah.
I'm not worried, but I do think the starting pitching, it was a story. It is a story. Now, I'm not making an excuse here, but Herman Marquez is actually really good. And I know you'll look at his ERA because he plays at Coors, but if you look at stats that basically take ballpark factors out of it, he's essentially just as good or better than Miles Michaelis and Steven Matz. He really is. But he plays in Coors, so his ERA is always going to be 4.5.
Yeah. Can we get Kiz on the broadcast booth instead of Brad Thompson?
I like BT. People
Why-
are down on everything now.
Why don't you like BT? I think he's funny.
I think he's really good.
He brings
I will
energy.
say he doesn't really bring a whole lot of offensive analysis. So, like he's not he's not breaking down a swing,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is, and I guess he's breaking down pitching, but we're also talking about a guy who had a career almost 6 ERA.
Yeah.
Like I've always thought that a catcher should probably be the best in terms of an analyst.
I was going to ask.
because
That was my next question.
They know pitching and they know at least the idea of hitting
Yep.
and how to get guys out. But
How do you compare him to Jimmy Edmonds? Is Jimmy a little bit more well-rounded?
I think Jimmy's ability to break down a hitter is far more impressive.
It is different this year, too. You got to be quick, man. You really do. Like
Yeah, you do.
baseball in previous years, you probably have an extra 5 to 8, 9 seconds between every pitch to have one more sentence of your analysis. Or if you're trying to be funny, you got to be quick.
Yeah, you do.
Like sometimes I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, this inning's over.
Yeah, I know.
There really is. They've sped it up. I wonder if they'll even dial it back a little bit, just a little bit. I like this pace, but I think if you could get that average game to 245, that's probably the perfect.
What's the pace now?
range.
Is it-
It's like
I don't know.
241.
Is it 241? Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad, dude. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
And it depends on obviously how much action is going on. But I do think, like I thought BT and Danny Mac for years, the last couple of years, had really hit a stride where they were really funny together. And it's different. You ask anybody that calls, I mean, Nate knows this. You ask anybody if you're calling a game or if you're, Andy Banker used to always tell me this about the Rams games. And you only have like 12 seconds or 8 seconds
Yeah.
to mention a sponsor or whatever it is before, like, you can't talk at a certain time because the quarterback's about to make the play or they're about to go to a commercial, whatever it is. Like, you literally have to get your words in so quickly.
I bet you Jim does too,
Dude, it's tough. I think Edmonds has struggled I think he's only done one series, I believe, but you could tell his pay, he hasn't caught up to the pitch clock yet. He was stepping all over the play-by-play.
Oh, really?
And then same thing, like, now they make these guys, they're just such, like, they have to read 15 promos every inning.
Yeah, a little too much.
I just think that the team needs to recognize that maybe less is more. Because Ballas is trying to fit in their tickets for less, 15-second spot during a mound.
So there's
visit.
not enough banter. They're trying to get all this. They're tightening everything up. The banter back and forth, which we all liked, it's not that. There's not nearly as much, and now it's all promos because you got to squeeze everything in.
Sounds like they're fitting more promos in than I've ever heard before.
And I'll tell you what, that's ridiculous. Let
Isn't
me
it, though?
tell you why it's ridiculous.
Isn't it ridiculous?
It's ridiculous because this Sunday, April 16th, the Cards host the Pirates. You notice these promos. Pirates series. Come on down. I think the Pirates are actually
They're-
decent this year.
Except for O'Neal Cruz.
I know, but 25,000 fans, ages 16 and up. taking home a mystery nickname jersey courtesy of Maryville University. For tickets or more info, visit cardinals.com/promotions. You got Goldie, you got Red, you got the Machine, and you got Engine number 42.
Let me look at that. Pretty cool.
Plus, you have the Nolan Arenado cycle, and then you have the Jackie Robinson Day cap for the whole weekend.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that's what
There's your
Maddie
promo.
wants that. Maddie wants that bad boy. The Cardinals will finish in last place. No effort and slow starts will doom this dysfunctional team. Put a name in. 201 Lowered. Irish Sean chimes in. Ali's brain dead, blowhard, overrated coach. You should not be in the dugout. Uh-oh. They're coming now.
Yeah, but you got to think about the hand he's being dealt, too. This is not a good starting rotation. I'm sorry. They may not have that number 5. I think most of their pitchers are 3 and 4s, but they don't have a standout number 1. I like Montgomery. I think he'd be a solid 2 or 3 on a contending team, but he's not an ace.
I will say
at least
this.
not now.
I will say this.
What do you got?
You know, when you're 3 and 7, like it's bad. This Cardinal fan base is going to be on you. But when you call out a player 5 games in, and then you're 3 and 7, like it just adds on. Now you're looking at Ollie in a different kind of way, and they're struggling, and the negativity amplifies as a manager.
I think that's fair, and I do think he opened himself up to, it's chirping. We're talking media, fan, Twitter chirping. He doesn't care. I promise you he doesn't look at it. But it is an obvious joke. When you call out a player for not hustling, and then you don't get your challenge in time, it's the easiest joke to write.
Well, I know, but you created that joke.
But it all comes down to also you're 3 and 7.
You're 3 and 7.
Yeah.
And you know what?
You're 3 and 7.
It's not like they should be 8 and 2. They played a really good schedule here, but you should probably be 500. You should probably be 500.
Last night was not reassuring.
It was not.
I mean, the Rockies are not a good team. And to go there and, I don't know, it just isn't working right now. And Steven Matz, who you're paying $11 million a year for, after this, 2 more seasons.
Dang D-Dog.
Can I say something that
Go ahead, man.
That I am a little
We
bit
got 3 hours, baby.
perturbed about with Ollie?
Yep.
Maybe I'm nitpicking.
Okay.
But I think you're going to agree with me because this gets back to the Mike Schilt era, where when we had the old show or 2 shows, the Cam Jansen show and the Charlie Marlowe show. This was the height of post game Schilty, where I love Schilty, but after the game, he was gonna talk about the good things.
Oh yeah.
He was gonna pump up the boys.
Yeah.
And I get that every once in a while, but it got to a point where it was laughable.
Yes.
And in some of these games, especially with the starting rotation, like last night, Ollie Marmol, he's always talking about soft contact and weak contact. Okay, so maybe half the hits were not 100 miles an hour. Well, how about you strike somebody out? And by the way, you're talking about dudes that are giving up 10 hits and 9 hits.
Yeah,
they're not all cheap.
There you go.
And you know what? You can say Steven Matz needs to be better.
There it is.
You don't have to rip him. Hey, Steven Matz needs to be better.
Yep.
He's given up 9 hits and 10 hits.
Yep.
Sure, a couple of them get through. There's no shift. Every once in a while, a dude's going to put bat on ball and loop a little ball out to center field. By the way, give him credit because he made contact.
Dang right.
After every game, and you know who else does this? Flaherty does this, and so does Michaelis. They always go, and I do this too, you go and look at Baseball Savant. Well, how hard was that ball hit? Oh, I gave up 8 runs.
No.
Oh, I gave
Charlie
up
is right.
8, but a couple of those hits were only 81 miles an hour off the bat. It's fun to look at that, and I like that data too.
Yep.
But when you give up 10 hits, at least half of them are legit. It doesn't look good when you're, weak contact.
There you go, Charlie.
You got beat by the Rockies.
Dang right.
They suck.
There you go.
You can enjoy 2023 Cardinals opening day because that kind of sounded like Cartman.
You do kind of sound like Cartman. No, you're right, man. You're right.
You want to
Am I
hear
wrong
from
there, though?
Ollie?
Damn right. Let's hear from Ollie. Let's go.
Yeah, we ran out of time for the challenge, so they didn't allow us to challenge it.
And it seemed like there was a discussion with the umpires after that. What was that about?
It was a matter of we thought we challenged on time. They said we didn't, so they went and reviewed it. Amongst themselves said that it was right at 0 when we attempted a challenge.
If the clock is, I guess, where's that line? If it's screwed at 0, did you get any clarity? If it shows 0, I guess is it like a stopwatch?
They said we ran out of time. I felt like we did it right at the time expiring, but obviously they got final call on that, and we ran out of time, so therefore we can challenge.
What did you think of Matt?
Yeah, made some pretty good pitches, filled up the zone with all four, threw some cutters in there. They took some good swings on pitches out of the zone, got some knocks on it. So, again, not a whole lot of damage, but 7 singles, and left a couple pitches up, curveball up, and then the cutter into Montero. But other than that, he made some pretty good pitches.
But other than that,
Not a lot of damage. Okay, so nowadays a damage means an extra base hit, apparently. Because you gave up 9 hits and 6 earned. That's damage. When you look up on the scoreboard and there's a big crooked number, that's damage.
Yep.
I guess damage is only a double or a triple or a home run now.
That's damage.
You gave up 9 hits in less than 6 innings.
Dude, and I know I'm like kind of joking, but no, you're right on that. When they're always like, well, no, just be like, no, I got to be better. It's all good. I got to be better. We all know that. We could look up little things. You lost a game. You gave up quite a bit. Just you could be better. That's all.
And you know what? You did fill up the zone.
Yeah,
you filled up the zone, and they got 9 hits off you.
You filled it up.
So either be out of the zone chase, where they can't hit it,
There it is.
or be so nasty in the zone that they don't get 9 hits.
Strike some people out.
How about that?
How about strike some people out? You know?
Is that too much to ask?
Is that too much to ask for?
I want to hear from Cardinal Nation.
Oh, they're going now.
Phone calls, texts, because people are getting ornery. And again, I'm probably focusing too much on the whole Ollie situation. Is now kind of a week-long thing. You had Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah.
You had last night. So if you were team O'Neill, you're like, okay, now Ollie, look what you did. I would have liked for Ollie to say, that's my bad. That's all. Hey, that's on me.
No big deal. Sometimes you say that.
Cardinals have allowed 102 hits as a staff. That is third worst in all of Major League Baseball, and opponents are hitting 296 against the Cardinals. That is dead last out of all 30 Major League clubs.
Interesting.
It almost cancels out the Cardinals' batting average.
Yeah.
They're right there.
Let's see.
Well, it has, but I'm telling you, if you take out the 2 games in which they scored 9 against the Blue Jays,
Right.
the offense has been
Right.
a little suspect.
And it's with runners in scoring position. Their batting average is fine. They're not hitting guys home.
Nope.
Except Goldschmidt yesterday. That's about it.
Goldie's hitting the ball.
He's
Feast
doing
for
well.
famine.
Goldie's hitting the
Exactly.
ball. Do you guys think there's any chance that Yachty would ever sit in the Spanish broadcast? Does his brother still do that? Sprunk Sprinkler. I don't know.
Benji does.
Benji still does that?
Yep.
Polo.
And Polo?
I think
a good
Yachty's chilling, man. He's probably down in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. There's a
Basketball
mansion.
team,
Looking at the water.
swimming.
Yeah.
But I bet you he'll be up here and there.
He'll get bored. He'll come up, want to say hey. I think Brad said that pitch was right where he wanted to put it, but the batter just put a good swing on it and took it the other way like 4 times last night.
Okay, so I like PT. I don't remember that specific
Everybody's
point.
so critical. It's
But
hilarious.
here's the deal. The Cardinals, all due respect, their staff isn't nasty.
No.
They're not dudes that are super nasty. Now, some of their relievers are, but if every one of your starters essentially throws what? Between, and I'm not even including Waino, but everybody else throws about 92, 93, pitch to contact. Nobody's a really big strikeout guy. So guess what? In the big leagues, if you spot a 93 mile an hour fastball and it's not perfect, you're going to give up a lot of singles. This pitching staff, they don't miss bats. And again, without the shift, you're going to see a lot more of those ground balls get through.
Let's see here. They keep coming in. Bring them in, by the way, 855-282-8255. The Cardinals broadcasting is horrendous. Get rid of Bally Sports. Put Nate and Cole as Cardinal broadcasters. Oh, dang.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch that 100%. Dude.
So Cole is doing the color.
Nate and Cole.
Yeah. When is Ollie's Pinata night? So all the fans could beat the piss out of him. Irish Shaw. Now, that's not very nice. It's not very nice at all. The Blues are the best running organization in St. Louis. The Cardinals could take some lessons from the best run organization, the St. Louis Blues. I think they're both pretty damn good. I mean, they're both pretty damn good. The problem with Marmol is he never had to earn his manager spot like Schilt. Dude thinks he's a boy genius and couldn't care less about the players. Jackie Parlays. See, like,
That last part, though, I don't think he doesn't care about the players. I do think there is something to paying your dues, and that's why I said yesterday that we all know the ownership and the general manager or president of baseball operations, whatever they're called these days, those guys have way more influence than the manager. And every manager of the Cardinals the last 25 years has had a really good win-loss record. So look, I think Ollie could be a really good manager. I think last year he did some really good things. I think he kept his bullpen very rested last year. I think he mugged game one of the playoffs. And also, so what did they win last year? 93? And what did they win the year before with Schilt? Was it 89? So, I mean, you inherited a damn good team. Like Ollie Marmol managing the Orioles or the A's, they're not going to win 100 games. Like, we also need to recognize, and I think Ollie does, that he's in a great situation.
He is. Absolutely is. Everyone needs to calm down. We're 10 games into the season of 162. This team is not going to continue to be this bad. The rotation isn't that good, but they will not continue to be this bad. Our lineup is too good to continue to have a record this bad. Colby Rasmus' daddy. What up, man?
Oh, wow. Maddie just sent me a 8-leg parlay.
Oh, Lord EB.
He had busted because he had the over 11.5 runs.
Maddie.
And they scored 11. That's insane.
Why do I laugh at that?
He hit the other 7 legs, though.
Wow.
What would it have paid?
I don't.
It's brutal.
I just see it was plus 7,200, but I don't know how much he put on it.
Maddie.
Oh, $10 wager.
So $72.
That ain't bad. $10. That's no big
There's
deal.
a meme where this guy his buddy calls him and he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "Hey, put this parlay in real fast. It's $5 to win 500,000." And he's like, Draymond for a triple double. He's like, Draymond doesn't get 10 points. He's like, Klay Thompson for 11 rebounds, and he's like, Klay didn't get rebound and all this stuff. And he goes, all right, fine. He's like, I'll put it in, and then he hangs up. He goes, I'm not putting that parlay in. And they should clip over to him sitting on the couch, and the announcer's like, and Draymond's done it. The first player to ever get a triple-double without scoring 10 points. He did it with 10 steals. And then Thompson with a rebound. He eventually. It's just funny. It always happens when you don't put it in.
You can't, like you're going to rely on that much to go on to have to win, right? Like, there's just a lot that has to happen in your favor, and that's, like, it's tricky.
So I have this friend who would place bets for another guy.
Yeah.
But the other guy was such a bad gambler that he would put his bets in to the middleman, but the middleman wouldn't actually place some of them. And he would realize that this dude would always lose. So he would kind of double dip.
Oh.
Because the dude would still owe him on his bad bets.
Oh,
but he realized this guy's like the cooler. He loses everything. So I'm going to stop actually playing. Now, if the dude won, he would still have to pay him.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he would strategically not play some of the bets, and he would win out. Because the dude lost so much.
Yeah. So would you ever do that? Hey, play some bets for me.
Well, he's got to pay the dude if he wins. So it's kind of on him,
Yeah.
the middle guy.
Man, oh, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Gambling, dude, it's too much going on. Guys, did Walker bring back the pepper grinder last night? See y'all salt shaker, Jobu. Yeah, I saw Jimmy talking about the pepper grinders back, trying to change something. Although I think they're doing it a little differently now. It's sort of like the weird thing.
I think they need to probably retire that and then just have something come up organically this year.
Yeah. Guys, is it possible that Major League Baseball has done something to the baseball to cause this? What? Cause what?
That only teams against the Cardinals are scoring?
Yeah. Let's see. Maddie, quit the dang sucker parlays. You should have been 7-1. Tired of it. Wombat. Yeah, I feel like he loses a lot. Like, does he ever come in here and say, hey, God, I won big on that? Ever?
Well, but if you think about it, if he's only putting $10 down, if he hits one here and there, it's going to pay for, I don't know if you're making money this way, but
I get you.
It gives you a way to stay involved and not risk a whole lot of money.
What are the lines with the Blues in Dallas?
They're probably not out yet.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they play tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And Thursday. Guys, I love the chaos. Give me more of this, please. Yeah, I mean, you want them to win, but the more chaos is better for us.
I think they'll be fine. I think they'll scratch their way back to 500 here relatively soon. But I do think they're going to need probably similar reinforcements of starting pitching at the deadline or earlier, like they did the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't think Jake Woodford is going to make 17 quality starts for the Cardinals. Even when Waino comes back, if he's good, which I'm not sure about, somebody else will get hurt.
Somebody's going to get hurt, no doubt.
I bet they don't wait till the deadline this year, like years past. They're going to have to make a move sooner.
Well, we shall see. The Cards have now hired 3 dudes who've never managed. No telling how many rings the Cardinals may have left on if they hired Francona after La Russa left.
That's a very fair point.
In the big leagues that they've managed in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Matheny hadn't managed. I think he had managed his son's team.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, Matheny is correct.
But he did play a long time. You know.
Those teams were really good, though. Those 12, 13, 14, 15 teams. I think that's a very fair point that you probably could have caught yourself another World Series if you had a seasoned big league manager, especially to manage a bullpen in the playoffs.
Who are the worst coaches and managers of the last 20 years? Blues, Cardinals. No, 30 years. Count the 90s.
So Torrey wasn't good here.
What about buddy that coached you?
Andy?
Okay.
Oh, Andy Murray. Yeah, he wasn't dealt the great cards in that. We were young and stuff.
David Payne?
Painter just didn't work out.
Mike Kitchen.
Well, is it Mike Keenan? Would he be up there? He had some great teams in the 90s. Couldn't figure it out. A lot of drama. Kind of made some crazy stuff go down. He's got to be kind of up there. Most hated. I think
Linehan.
I think a lot of people hate him.
Spags got to be up there.
Spags. He's still doing it, though, isn't he?
He's winning rings, man.
He's winning rings.
I actually played against Linehan's son in football, and his team kicked our ass every time.
What school?
It was he played for the Chesterfield Bears. It was
The Bears.
not JFL, like Gateway. I don't know, some Pop Warner.
Yeah. Correction. Good thing I take Cardinal games as a social event and have no interest in watching the game. Cold AB products and good friends, all that matter. Monty, he's still drinking AB products. That's good. You know, let's see here.
So if you drank AB products your whole life, you have to stop now.
You have to stop now.
Or if you
take
know,
a bulldozer.
All the people that worked. I played for the Bud Light baseball team for 10 years. I got Bud Light jersey.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, that was a great sponsorship.
Damn right.
Not as good once they sold.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
great guys. Those brewery guys, some of the best people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, man. I like going
The
down
old
there.
school folks.
I like in the wintertime going down there and skating with the boys. Remember we did some shows out there. Were you with me when we did shows out there? No, that was with Maddie and Hannah and them. We skate out there. Yeah, that was my late show I had for a while, from 6 to 7.
You've had so many different shows. It's hard to keep track of all of them.
Yeah, I kind of did.
We've had so many successful shows.
We had we're here now, and I think everybody again. When we started, everybody's doing pretty damn good. Like it's cool to see that. You know,
for sure.
Eric Messersmith and all those guys.
He's
Hannah.
killing it.
He is killing it.
I giggle every time I see him.
It's so funny.
He
dude.
posts a lot on Facebook, and it's cool when every once in a while he and his wife are both on Fox News together. That's
cool.
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and he deserves it.
He does. They both do, man.
He's a great guy.
He is totally.
We need to get him on every once in a while.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's pretty early there.
He'll do it.
He would do it.
He's up. He's got a kid. He's probably
Yes,
up
he does.
at 6 a.m.
Guys, I coach my 7-year-old baseball team. Guess I'm qualified to be the Cardinals manager, Jobu. Well, come on now. Yeah, but man, you didn't play 20 years in MLB. You know, like that has some clout. You know what I mean? Terry Francona wins a World Series in 2012 or 13, no question. Matheny sucks. Those were World Series teams. Wombat.
14 was really good too.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a fair point. If you take that next 4 years, if you had a seasoned manager, or if Tony would have stayed, I think there's a very good chance they win one more.
Was that which team do you think, when you look at the Blues and the Cardinals, where you're like, oh, they were loaded and didn't make it and kind of got knocked out?
You know, the whole argument we're having right now where people are complaining because it's the Leafs, I feel like Blues fans had that complaint for 5 straight years. And nobody cares about if somebody in the Midwest is complaining about it. But the Blues were knocking on the door of the President's Trophy almost every single year during the Hitch era. And they'd have to play either Chicago or L.A. first, second round.
God.
I think some of those years the Blues could have been the second, third, fourth best team some of those years in hockey, and they're out quick.
How about like 96, 97?
Yeah, I don't have the memory for those teams.
They were loaded. Prongs gets hurt. Fierzy gets hurt. Thank you, Nick Kyprios. Then you go against the Detroit Red Wings.
Every year it seemed like.
It's unbelievable. And they were loaded. And Gretter kind of turned it over. And then Stevie Y. Eisman went down in that right wing and went bar down. And I could visualize that celebration right now. Behind the net, like, blah, 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 blah. And then everybody jumped. McCarty jumps on them. Then they became a dynasty. You know? You got to beat a team like that to win. But I feel like in 19, like, God, when they first played Winnipeg, I'm like, whew, this Winnipeg team, damn. They were big, tough, fast. And I go, kind of beat them. Like, kind of.
I still think
control.
Dallas would have won it all.
Dallas was good.
Bishop
man.
was playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
And they were hot.
I think if you look at the Blues and that, if you want to just go kind of the Hitch run and the Berube run, you can make the argument that 2019 wasn't their best team, but it was fair. For that decade of in the playoffs every year and really good, they should have won one, and they did. Maybe it wasn't the year they were the absolute best team, but they were the hottest. They were the healthiest. Sometimes you need a little luck here and there. You can probably make that argument with the Cardinals. If you go back to 2006, Cardinals have been really good if you want to start, mid-2000s, 2004, whatever, for a whole decade. And they won 2 World Series in arguably 2 of the years where they weren't even nearly as good in the regular season as a bunch of other years. So if you get in almost every year, couple times here and there, you're going to win one.
Well, the Blues also got lucky, too. I don't know if it's luck, but Tampa Bay Lightning were the biggest team going. They were loaded. Of course, they started winning after that, but yeah, they got knocked out by Columbus. Just a freak thing. It was like a wake-up call. They had to change a little bit of their game, and they did, and they became a dynasty, basically, right? Like, just a little. They were a little tick off, and they got exposed and embarrassed. And, if they would have figured it out, that would have been a tough Stanley Cup against them, because they were absolutely loaded. I have beer league softball tonight with some old fraternity brothers. I bring a 30-pack every game and love that they know they can just have some with me. I can't wait to hear the snowflakes complain about their free Bud Light tonight, though, Sprunk Spinkler. I'll drink that, dude. You bring beer to my house. It's going to get drunk.
See, my thing with beer is I like to switch it up.
Me too. I do.
Even if you're talking about light beer, if I liked Bud Light, I wouldn't only drink Bud Light. I'm going to do some Bud Light. I'm going to do some Coors Light. I'm going to do some Miller Light. I'm going to alternate.
Oh, I like that Miller Light.
Like we're doing Coors right now. Because my mom was in town. We had Bud Light. I said, let's switch it up. We're doing Coors right now.
Yeah. I saw some of the marketing campaigns from back in the 90s that they were doing. Coors had some good ones, too. Like some of the beer commercials, they stick. Now, AB's best one is always the puppy dog. Always, if you have a puppy in the mix and you're just like, I don't know, like people are going to be locked into it. They're going to be locked in.
So the one with the horse and the puppy?
Yeah, I know that's more of a...
What about the 9/11 one?
Oh, that was, the 9/11 one. Then they had a couple different things where, Real American Hero. Wasn't that Bud Light?
Those were funny.
Yeah.
Was it Real Men of Genius?
Real Men of Genius.
On those same lines, I'll tell you the commercials that are the funniest. I mean, I'll freaking fall down laughing. Is that Don't Become Your Parents?
Yeah.
Insurance commercials?
Yeah.
Those are hilarious. Yeah. That's my dad, dude.
I like that.
Everything they make fun of, that stuff my dad does.
Yep.
All of it, like, you go to the game and all you can talk about is parking.
yeah.
How are we going to get out of here?
Dr.
Oh, man.
I need to see
I
that
bet
more
you they
time.
make a ton on parking.
Yeah. I get you. Accidental bad coaches. Mike Jorgensen was so bad that the Cardinals hired Tony. Mike Yo was so bad the Blues were forced to promote Berube, and we win the Cup. Rich Brooks sucked it up so bad the Rams hired a retired Vermeil, Joe Boo's rum, and he's on fire today. I like your energy today, Joe Boo. I like it. Ollie needs to focus on managing and less on being offended by everything an ump does. Typical millennial. Oh, man. Is he getting pissy with the umps?
Last night he was a little fired up.
A little fired up again? I feel like that's happening a lot.
I do think there's something to that when you are a young manager and you didn't play in the big leagues, there's always going to be, whether it's from the players, the other managers and coaching staff, and the umpires. Like we literally saw this with CB Buckner during spring training. And remember last year, the whole thing was whoever started it, CB Buckner says, you haven't been here that long, or you just got here. And Ollie says, well, you've been here a long time and you suck. Whatever it was. But part of that is, dude, you're new.
Yep.
And until you either win a World Series or unless you played in the show, you probably have to fight through that.
Hey, so remember, Chris Weidman?
Yeah.
Our buddy? So he's kind of taking a little heat, chirping the Toronto fans for Toronto being up 7-1 against Montreal. A minute to go in the game, they put in this e-bug. The e-bug takes like 10 minutes to put his stuff on for the last minute when they're down by 7, and all the guys in Montreal. And they asked Sheldon Keefe, the coach of Toronto, afterwards why he did that. He goes, I didn't make the call. And they go, what? Who did? We have he's like, well, that's not important. Yeah, so like they got like some sort of committee up there that went in and said, excuse me, Sheldon, okay, can you put in this? And he's got to be like, yeah, okay. Do you imagine that?
So front office, not players? I can see how the players are all
he
like...
he got a bug in the ear from upstairs to say, put this e-bug in. Okay.
Just for a good story.
And he was pissed afterwards when they talked to him. And there's a clip of him saying, it's not important. I didn't make that decision. Yeah. Isn't that... Can you imagine somebody calling Berube, excuse me, Chief. Hello, it's me up here in the booth. Can you switch in this and that, please? Thank you.
I don't care about that
He'd be like,
stuff.
what did you say to me?
But it would be somebody like Army. Who's got the power to make that call?
Who knows what's going on up in Toronto's front offices with little Doobie up there, Kyle Dubas. They probably have a bunch of college kids hanging out, telling them what to do. Who knows? Who knows? Can you imagine that? And I said this, if I'm freaking Montreal and Toronto, who's been spanking us for years, although they can't get out of the first round, pulls this crap on me, I'm ragdolling somebody. I'm not going to beat up the goalie because he doesn't deserve it. He's just like, what? Oh, I got to go in there? Oh, okay. No, I'm grabbing one of their guys, and I'm looking at Sheldon Keefe, and I'm like, you see this? This is because of you. And then Sheldon Keefe will be like, I didn't do it. It's Doobie upstairs. He told me. How stupid is that? Is that weird?
Well, every
or
time
am I 0 for 2 with these stories?
Well, every time you get an e-bug in there, isn't it kind of for the story?
Man, it's just dumb. The whole thing's dumb. It's degrading. You got to wait an extra 10 minutes?
Why did that happen, though? I feel like
because
that's not usually
put his stuff on. I don't know. There was something. It just took a while. Maybe there's something with the skate. I don't know. But I don't blame Chris Weidman. But I would have ragged out somebody and just stared at their bench like, "Yep, you started this. Sorry."